This story took place only 8 days after my previous story. It is about DeOrr J. Kunz, Jr., who vanished from Timber Creek Campground in Idaho on July 10, 2015. He was 2 years old at the time and should be 9 years old now. DeOrr's parents, DeOrr Vernal Kunz Sr. and Jessica Mitchell, were engaged at the time. Vernal and Jessica decided to take their son on a camping and fishing trip. Jessica's grandfather, Robert Walton, and Robert's friend, Isaac Reinwand, were said to have gone with them. I did hear some audio that made it sound like Vernal and Jessica were already at the campground before asking Robert to join them, and that it was an unplanned trip, but that might have been a simple misunderstanding. I also read that the trip was the grandfather's idea. Robert and Isaac claimed they had been planning the trip for a week. There are so many conflicting statements in this story. Whether that's because of the trauma of the situation or lies, we may never know. Some statements say that the grandfather was watching DeOrr while the parents were at the creek. Other statements say that the father was with DeOrr at his truck while the mother was at the creek. And for some reason, each parent called 911 at the same time. There have been many searches over the years through the mountains, forests, and water. Searches have been done on foot, horseback, ATV, helicopters, and with canines and drones. 3 private investigators have looked into the case without any solid evidence, only opinions and theories. One believes the parents gave or sold DeOrr to someone. One believes they killed him, and I can't find information on the third one. Supposedly, the parents claim that they had gone to some places on the way to the campground with DeOrr, but nobody remembers seeing DeOrr with them. They also went back to town the next day and went to a few places. Again, nobody remembers seeing DeOrr with them. Maybe they just forgot, but it's a town with about 100 people, so I don't believe that personally. One employee claimed they seen DeOrr with a man in a Jeep hours after he disappeared, but I'm not sure where that statement originated from. Vernal and Jessica were named as suspects by Sheriff Lynn Bowerman the following January due to failed lie detector tests and changing stories, but they were never charged. Steve Penner became sheriff in 2017. He doesn't have anybody listed as suspects, but all 4 adults that were supposedly present at the time of the disappearance are said to be listed as persons of interest. The gist of what I'm finding about Isaac is that he was drinking and doesn't remember much about the trip, or he just doesn't want to talk. He did, however, make a statement that he was fishing when DeOrr disappeared, so maybe he just doesn't know what happened. It is said that his story is the only consistent one. Jessica did provide a sketch of a man that was supposedly watching them while they were in town, but the sheriff's department claims they identified the man and cleared him. But by that time, the man couldn't remember if DeOrr was with them. Jessica also made a statement in late 2015 that Isaac had a muddy shovel with blonde hair on it during the search. If that was true, wouldn't the searchers have noticed? A year after DeOrr disappeared, his parents were evicted from their apartment. Investigators were given access to the premises by the residing landlord. A camouflage jacket and several toy cars that resemble what both parents alleged were with their son at the time of his disappearance were found at the apartment. But the investigator that says he found them has also been accused of planting evidence and seems to have a bad reputation. This investigation is the one that thinks DeOrr was killed. This investigator is the one that thinks DeOrr was killed. Some people believe that DeOrr never made it to the campsite, and I can see why. There's no evidence that he was ever there. Maybe the camping trip was set up to give someone time to get away with him. And hopefully nothing bad happened to him at the campsite or elsewhere. I would like to believe that someone has been raising him for the past 7 years, no matter how he came into their custody, and I hope someday he will be found safe. If anybody has any possible leads in this case, please check out the contact information in the description. Thank you.